In this video, I'm going to try take apart the Fazua Evation drive pack. I've not seen any videos anywhere online of someone doing this, which is kind of terrifying, but when I finished doing a USB update the other day, I noticed the seal had decided to remove itself, but I've also noticed that the seal around the bottom here is also not sitting correctly, so it'd be a good idea to sort that out. So yeah. Hopefully we're going to take this thing apart and get that fixed. First of all, we're taking the battery out, which is obviously easy. If you've already got one of these, press the push thing, take it out. There we go, battery has been removed. Now, as I mentioned, I couldn't find anything online anywhere of how to take this thing apart. There's two screws here, I'm going to start with these. These are some very, very long screws, so could be onto a winner here. Right, is anything loose? Nope, nope. I do not know. Okay, I've just been messing around with it, and I held onto the tube and just kind of pushed from here. And it was kind of moving a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, we definitely got a bit more space around there, so. Undid those two screws. This felt like it was moving slightly then stopping, as if something was holding it in place. So I've been looking around, and this casing seems to be able to move. So jammed a small screwdriver and wiggled that forward, and I've just very carefully worked my way around. And I think this is going to come off. There we go, it's coming out now. Hopefully this should expose some screws. Oh yeah, we're almost all the way now. Boom, that is off. And we do have a couple more screws. Different size Torx key for this one. I think the first one was T20, these are T25. This is off a second-hand bike, I've got to explain, and that's why I'm trying to fix it up. Otherwise, if you had things that went wrong with yours, you would just send it back to the shop you bought it from. Or Fazua themselves. I mean, this is working, but if I took it out without these waterproof seals on, I'm not sure how much longer it would be working, so either way it was going to get ruined. I would prefer to fix it and not have to spend 300 or 400 on a second-hand drive pack. Okay, so both of these are now out. Have we got any more movement? We have more movement, right. Okay. So, oof. Wonder if that's a cooling plate. I bet it is a cooling plate, you know. Alright, so this case piece is now off. There is dirt all over my computer desk. So at least this gives me... Oh yeah, look at that, that's torn out. That's why it fell. So at least I can now fix what I was after. You can see here, this is the seal that I wanted to fix as well, so we can get that done. And let's see if there is any actual movement, just in case I ever needed to take this thing apart. Oh yeah, there we go. So that's going to come straight out. Ooh. I don't know if this is thermal paste or a thermal pad. You know, for the sake of the video and potentially getting some more views, let's whip it out. That's really interesting material. Okay, so looking pretty interesting so far. Oof, what is that? That's probably some sort of warranty void thing. Here we go. This feels like it's going to fall. There we go. Motor pack is out. Interesting. So So it looks like we have plastic clip there, plastic clip there. I'm guessing you would remove that. We've also got some tiny Torx screws across there. I'd guess you'd undo them. There's potentially, oh no, they'll be the screws for the plate that goes onto the top. And then, yeah, I'm not going to dismantle this, but how amazing is that? Like, the Fazua motor. That's all it is that's powering the e-bike. I've given everything a clean as much as possible. I even swept all the dirt off my desk, so power side is going in there. Obviously that's the motor side. That thing turns everything around. So, start by wiggling this thing in. And there we go. Now, before I finish, I'm going to put the rubber seal around, which had come loose. Now, because mine has come loose, it is really floppy everywhere, so actually getting this on properly is going to be tricky. I think it is. I think that sits on the inside and forms a watertight seal. But it's so loose that getting this thing back together and getting the seal in is going to be impossible. Alright, I'm going to switch to time lapse until I figure this thing out, because it could take a while. I've chased the seal all the way around and I still have lots of overhang, so I'm going to do something terrible. I'm actually going to cut this rubber seal. There we go. Right, that's a terrible idea, but I will be able to cut this to size now, and I'll be able to measure that size so I can order myself a new rubber seal. I can just right, so I've got 22.5. I'm going to now edge this back in. Okay, so I've got this rubber seal stuff. Bought it when I was fixing one of my Garmin's. I'm just going to put a touch of this on for now, but I will be ordering a new rubber seal. I feel like if I put a touch of this, if it's good enough to make the Garmin waterproof, then it should be good enough to make this waterproof. Let's just put a tiny bit around here as well. Stick that in there. Ooh. Force it in and hopefully it seals. Right, let's just work it all the way around to make sure everything's in. See that section's coming out there. And this thing here is not a special tool, it is just a really cheap plastic tire lever. It's working an absolute treat on this. Just gently pushing the rubber seal all the way in. Come on, let's go. Something's not right here. I'm going to put it on the floor and put some force on it. All it needed was a tough push, but when I started the video, this was exposed by a couple of millimeter with the seal hanging out. It is now completely closed because the seal goes on the inside. I'll show you all the way around. Look at that, so much nicer. So that was a big issue on my Drivepack that I've just fixed. Awesome. Let's move on to reassembling everything else. This goes on first, but before that, I'm going to put this thermal pad back on as best as I can. So that is going to transfer heat from the motor as it warms up to that plate. Oh. So I'm going to stick the thermal pad back on because that takes heat from the motor, transfers it to this plate here, and obviously that's why we've got loads of vents there to disperse the heat. I tore it up a little bit on its way out. Let's be completely flat. Okay, so that is on. Oh, I also have my rubber seal. No, right, so the rubber bit fits through there. I was worried that it needed to go further down, and then that should just line up over the USB slot. So, alright, so that's on there, yeah. And you know what? I could actually go in with the top screws straight away, so I might do that first, because that would keep it in place. Okay, maybe not fully in place, because there is actually a little bit of a space for the thermal plate to move, but we'll screw it as far down as we can and do the end bits. Left them pretty loose so we can do the end ones. Alright, this is going to be tricky to do and show on camera at the same time. Oh, here we go. So, it's actually quite hard to get these in the holes because they're really low down on the case. There is one. Okay, now these ones are all the way in. I'm going to tighten them up. That's how loose the bolts are. Now that the bottom ones are tightened, I am going to tighten these top ones as well so everything stays in place. Nice. The final step, and the bit I missed at the start, is your USB cover. I already had mine off because I couldn't get it back in. And that just wiggles into place. And we just stick the tiny little torque bolts back in. These don't need that much pressure. The little plastic bit on the inside slides into that USB rubber seal, and that's what makes it tricky to remove if you've ever pulled this cap off. So yeah, don't yank your bolts down like someone has here because it will split the plastic. So no real force on these. I should have put some Loctite, but I can't be bothered. Okay. Sweet, so that's everything back together. I do need to order a rubber seal, so... oh, no, it's not. Thought that was everything back together, but we've got this little thing. But it is dead straightforward. It's a secret at first. Didn't know it was there. I said it's dead straightforward. That is your cue to just clip it. There we go. It literally just clips on there with a tiny bit of force. Clip, clip, clip. Done. Right, now the video's finished. Okay, I learnt my way through that video. I will need to disassemble it to add a proper wash-up once I have one arrive. If you want me to redo the video and make it a bit easier to follow, let me know. I'll do that. But for now, success. I'm very happy with that. It went smoothly. If you liked it, drop a comment, all that good stuff. See you later.